What's up? What's up, YouTube? I told y'all I was gonna do the Marvin Gaye content. I had to write this down because it's a lot of information. So it's like I had to write it down, and then I'll break it down. But yeah, I'm gonna do this content on Marvin Gaye. Marvin Gaye was a very talented artist. He was from a different era, way before my era, way before my time. He actually died. I wasn't even born yet when he died. So um, Marvin Gaye was before my time. He's very talented. He was a Motown artist. He got signed with Motown. Um, he did come from a very strict home. His father was a minister slash healer, and then his mother was just basically, from what I see, an at-home mom. Took care of the kids, took care of the home. If she did have a job, it probably, it wasn't a real big job. It was just probably like a small job. She basically was an at-home mom or whatever. But the dad was like really strict. Um, and also another thing with me that got me was his father was also a crossover, a cross-dresser. Did I say that right? How could I'm gonna make sure I said that right. Yeah, a cross-dresser. And for people that don't know what that is, and I was shocked, allegedly he was a cross-dresser. But that's what I did research on as far as in the documentary. For people that don't know what a cross-dresser is, it's basically a man who behind the scenes likes to dress as a woman. So allegedly his father was a cross-dresser and would actually sit at the table with Marvin Gaye, the mom and whoever else as far as family, the immediate family, and would sit there in women's clothes. And he was a minister slash healer at for a church called House of God. So that had got me right there. I'm like, wait a minute, cross-dresser. You don't really you hear it, but you don't really see it, every day. You know what I mean? Like with your, with people's dads and stuff, and that's your dad, but people don't really see their dad coming downstairs in women's clothes and just sitting down chilling. Like, you don't see that every day. Not saying it doesn't happen, but you just don't see it all the time. So it kind of caught me off guard, and I'm just like, cross-dresser, and he a minister? I ain't know how that worked. But yeah, allegedly he was a cross-dresser. He was very strict. He was strict with Marvin, very strict. And Marvin also sung in a choir at that church. But because the dad was so strict, him and Marvin couldn't get along due to the dad being strict. Marvin Gaye ran away at the age of 17 and then got into the Air Force. Okay. But this is what's funny to me, and I don't even know how he did it. But allegedly he faked an illness or some type of sickness or whatever to get out of the Air Force early. You know what I'm saying? They just went ahead and got him out of there due to his fake illness that he had. But the thing is, allegedly he just wanted to get out. I guess he felt like the Air Force wasn't for him, and that's normal. A lot of people are not driven to go to the Air Force. That may not be for them. So yeah, he kind of like came up with some fake the illness to try to get out of the Air Force, and it worked. So after that, it was just like, okay, he knew he could sing, so it was just like, okay, now I just have to find find something, find a career as far as what I want to do, because he knew he didn't want to do no Air Force. So Marvin Gaye ends up, which I didn't know, this is new to me, he ends up being in a group called the Marquis in 1957. He was bouncing back and forth, with different groups, and just trying to figure out, okay, I guess how to make ends meet, or how he was going to make money, or how he was going to become famous. So it was just kind of like, okay, he was in the group with Marquis, but he was still like, still doing different songs and working with different people and things like that. And he was doing that in Detroit, and that's where Motown is. So he was like, back and forth with different, I guess, groups and working with different people up until he got signed to Motown in Detroit. Great singer. He's a wonderful singer. And once he got signed with Motown, it was just like, it took off from there. Like, he came out with these hits. He had a very soothing voice, very nice looking, and just enjoying the how can I say this? Enjoying his path or his journey of success. In 1967, he works with Tammy Terrell. Now, I did content on Tammy Terrell, so y'all can go back and look at that. I ain't gonna get into all of that, but I'm just adding her on to his, because I did the same thing for him, because they eventually do collaborate and they sing. And one of their song hits is "Ain't No Mountain High Enough," one of my favorite songs. Even though they weren't even in my time, but I still like the song with the both of them. It's called "Precious Love." I really like that song. So in 1967, Marvin Gaye works with Tammy. And during that time, in my other videos, I talk about how Tammy suffered from headaches in the meantime of her performing with Marvin Gaye. So they go to this college to where they perform. And I guess the pain was so unbearable from her headaches and migraines, she passes out in Marvin Gaye's arms, and allegedly he was devastated. He was absolutely devastated when she passed out in his arms on stage. So he had to carry her off stage, and that's when she got rushed to the hospital. They ran tests to figure out, come to find out she had a brain tumor, cancer in the brain. So yeah. Once that happened, she still was suffering. She still was trying to get help from the hospital, doing all these surgeries to try to get well. And I don't know. She fought a good battle though, but the surgeries just wasn't working. So she ends up passing away in 1970, age 24. Marvin Gaye at this point is devastated, because from looking at the documentaries back in those times, allegedly he was like infatuated with her. Like, she was just so beautiful. They sung together, had good hits, and he was devastated when Marvin Gaye was devastated when he found out Tammy Terrell had died. And they had made all that good music together and all of that. So Marvin Gaye had fell into a deep depression. Yes, he did. After Tammy Terrell died, he fell into a deep depression, and I guess it drove him allegedly to cocaine. He had a cocaine addiction. I'm pretty sure alcohol was added into it. Just drugs, and just falling into that depression after she died. Like, it was serious like that. Pause for a minute, because I just wrote. It was a lot. It was a lot of information. Okay, so while being depressed, he's back and forth allegedly doing drugs. He's just not, his mindset is just not into music at this point allegedly after Tammy Terrell dies. Like, it just puts him in a whole nother zone. So as time went on, he goes ahead and go on tour. He goes on tour, and if I'm not mistaken, allegedly that's his last tour, because up until his final days and hours, that was his last tour that he did, if I'm not mistaken. And so he does the tour and everything. Once he's on that depression thing, and as time goes on, I guess he decides to go back to work and go ahead and get on tour, and that can also help you to not be stressed out and be sitting at home being depressed. So he goes on tour. He finishes the tour. Once Marvin Gaye finishes the tour, he is actually living with his mom and dad. That's the house that he bought that was in LA. He bought that house for his mom and dad. So his last days and hours, he stayed there with them. Now, remind you, during that time, Marvin Gaye was still depressed, but he decided to go back to, the music thing, go on tour. But he still was depressed. Allegedly, he still was doing drugs in and out. So, yeah. So So, he's living in the house. Now, this is the part that, the ending of this is the part that really gets to me. And then I'll share my question to you guys that'll never be answered. I mean, you guys will get your opinion about it, but it'll never be answered through him, of if that's how he really felt. Okay. Another thing, up until right before he died, while living there, he did kind of make it like a traffic house a little bit, bringing people in and out of the house, allegedly bringing different women in and out of the house, allegedly, getting allegedly drugs sent to the house. And, Marvin Gaye's dad just was tired of it. He was kind of getting irritable about that. Now, remind you, Marvin Gaye is still going through a depression. He's paranoid from allegedly the cocaine that he's doing. He's having different women come through, different men coming through, not like that, but as dealing or whatever. And the dad is just fed up. Like, his dad is fed up. His dad is just not feeling it. He just feels like Marvin has just lost it at this point. Like, what is going on with you? So, this is what takes the cake here. This is what starts the argument, and this is what causes Marvin Gaye. This is what ended up to cause Marvin Gaye to die, allegedly, from his dad. The whole argument was about an insurance policy. It was an insurance policy that his dad was looking for, some type of documents or paperwork. They couldn't find it, and his dad was very, making a big deal about that. So that was what the whole argument has started about, wasn't an insurance policy. Missing insurance policy at that. So in 1984, what I put, 1984, several comments came across, several arguments, which it was like more than one argument about the insurance policy. It was like his dad, Marvin Gaye's dad, would not let that go. And I just felt like it just wasn't okay. It's a misplaced insurance policy, but I just don't think it was to the point where it just had to be consistent arguing going on to lead to what happened. So that's what the argument was on. Allegedly, Marvin Gaye's dad, just was getting upset. He was yelling at Alberta, which is Marvin Gaye's mother, Alberta. And, Marvin Gaye just got tired of his dad yelling at his mom, yelling at his mother like that. So Marvin Gaye stepped in and, said something to his father. Him and his father started tussling a little bit, allegedly. And, Marvin Gaye's dad ended up on the ground. Marvin Gaye's dad gets up, walks into his room, and gets a .38 caliber gun. Comes back. They say in the documentary, Marvin Gaye's father doesn't say a word and just holds the gun up and shoots him. Allegedly, Marvin Gaye gets shot in the chest. Now, it all depends on how a person shoots you. Bullet can travel. So if you get shot in your shoulder, that bullet could do this. That's basically what it's doing. It all depends on how they shoot you, what angle they shoot you from. So if you get shot here, it could go here. Then boom, shoot down here. You know what I'm saying? It could just go anywhere on your body. Kind of like playing chess on a checkerboard. That's basically how a bullet can travel inside your body. So it enters his chest, then travels to his right lung. Heart diaphragm, liver, stomach, and left kidneys before stopping against his left flank. So basically, that's just basically telling you it pretty much traveled. Once it entered his chest, it went to his lung, then heart diaphragm, then your stomach, then your kidney. So it just did some of all of this. The way he shot him is just, the bullet traveled. He had a .38 caliber. So, Marvin Gaye, he slumped against the bed. And again, the father allegedly isn't saying a word. It's just complete silence as he's doing this. all over an insurance policy and the altercation that him and Marvin Gaye had. Marvin is slumped up against the bed, and his dad calmly walks up on him, allegedly, I believe close range, and shot his left shoulder. So all the information I gave you about how that bullet traveled for the first shot, the second shot, he shot him in the shoulder. So that's a lot of damage, and that pierced his heart. You know, all of that traveling around your heart area, you know, you got to really think about that. All that traveling of the bullet going around your heart, near your heart, boom, on your heart. And then he shot him again on the shoulder. I'm just doing a reenactment in my head of how it would look, you know, and that's crazy. So Marvin Gaye brother and the brother's wife, they weren't in the house, but they were like, it was like the house is kind of big. It's like an extension of the house. So they were kind of like in another part, and they heard the gunshot, like the sound. So they go rush over to that side where they are. And Marvin Gaye's brother's wife asked the dad, you know, where's the gun? And the dad wouldn't say nothing. Kind of find out he didn't put the gun underneath the pillow, allegedly. So Marvin Gaye's brother's wife gets the gun. They're calling 911. They do call 911 when they see Marvin Gaye instantly on the ground. And then the wife asking where the gun is. Police get there. You know, they got to definitely let them know it was a .38 caliber in there. And they needed to let the, you know, police know where it was before they could enter in. And, you know, of course, they take Marvin Gaye's dad in. They do. They take him in. Marvin Gaye was dead. Already on the scene, allegedly around 1 p.m., somewhere around there. He was already dead on the scene. Over an insurance policy. Think about that. Over an insurance policy. And over the altercation that he had with his dad right before he got shot. Now, his dad was already strict throughout his childhood. I don't know. I just can't believe he did that to his son. Marvin Gaye's words while he was shot. I'm going to read that. Now, this is where my question is going to come in after I read this. I got what I wanted. I couldn't do it myself. So I had him to do it. It's good. I ran my race. There's no more left in me. Now, the question that I want to share to you guys is, reading that sound like to me, you already in your mind wanted to commit suicide allegedly, but you just didn't have the courage to do it. So another solution came up to where somebody else ended up shooting you, but it ended up being your father, and that's how it ends. So my question is, did Marvin Gaye always wanted to commit suicide due to him being in deep depression, and he was on a he was on that cocaine addiction drive, that mixture, it doesn't mix, it'll never mix. So my question is, was he already trying to figure out a way to commit suicide, but of course didn't have the courage to, and had just been trying to find ways to do it? That would have been even more hurtful if he, if this situation would have never happened with his dad, and he just would have went on ahead and, try to find a way to commit suicide. Was he always thinking this? And now, him saying these last words, it seems like he was almost satisfied that he got what he wanted. It's just that he didn't have the courage to do it. That's basically what I got out of that. So yeah, that was the question that I wanted to share with you guys, but I'm not going to get no answer out of that. You'll never know. We'll never know what Marvin Gaye was thinking while going through that depression and going through a cocaine binge allegedly. You'll never know. But from reading this, it just seems like he always wanted to do it. He just didn't have the courage to do it himself. Um, I thought I had the time that his dad had to do. I don't know if I have it up there. I don't know if I have it up there. But all the information that I just gave you just now, think about that. And think about that question that I just had said at the end, too. Think about that. It's deep, isn't it? It's deep. I don't see it anywhere. But his, oh yeah, I did put it up here. Of course, you know, they did have to go to court, and allegedly, due to them, I guess they ran tests on the father too. They, you know, they did everything, and due to them finding a brain tumor in his brain, they did not give him so much time. Allegedly, Marvin Gaye's father, Marvin Gaye Sr. got 6 years of suspended sentence and 5 years of probation at that time, when he killed his son. And it was asked to him, did he even like Marvin Gaye? You know, did he get along with him? And his words, allegedly, Marvin Gaye's father, was he didn't hate him. So it was just like a weird relationship with his father and him. I don't know. And, you know, his father allegedly being a crossover dresser back in those times. And, you know, you just sitting at the breakfast table, and, you know, I'm pretty sure that kind of messed Marvin up, because he's probably looking like, what is he doing? You know, looking at that at a young age. So to me, it just seems like him and his father had a shaky relationship, and it basically ran its course until it couldn't run its course anymore. So I'm sorry Marvin Gaye lost his life. He was a very talented artist. He made a difference in this world, and he is definitely a part of Black music culture. And that's basically the information I had on that. Rest in peace your soul, Marvin Gaye, and we definitely will continue to always enjoy your music.